About 6 months ago, I bought a Synology DS925 Plus for my home. My goal was centralized, automatic family backups and a reliable media and file hub with room to grow. Together with the drives and extra memory, it cost me about €2,500. In this video, I want to help you out by sharing my journey so far. What I actually use it for daily, what I thought I would use it for but didn't, and whether that $2,500 was really worth it. Before I bought this, my family's files were, to say the least, a bit scattered. Photos were on our phones, some files were on laptops, some things were in cloud storage. Backups were something I meant to do, but not something I always remembered to do. And that's the problem a NAS tries to solve. NAS stands for Network Attached Storage. In very simple terms, it's a small computer in your home that stores and protects your files. Instead of files being spread across devices, everything can be stored or, at the very least, backed up in one place. And more importantly, a lot of it can happen automatically. Hi, I'm George, and before I jump into the first thing I set up, I wanted to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I will create a few more around my specific NAS setup and other techie subjects, and I will try my hardest not to use IT slang, although I do understand it. So why not subscribe to my little channel? After assembling the NAS, the first physical step I took was connecting it to my UPS, uninterruptible power supply. I use an APC model, which is perfectly fine for home and business use. Right, so what was the first thing I set up in the NAS itself and why? Well, it's probably what you need to. Automatic photo and video backup from all your family's mobile devices. Now, when me or the kids take photos or videos, they quietly copy themselves to the NAS when we connect to any wireless network. There's nothing to remember, there's nothing to plug in, and it means our important family photos and videos are stored somewhere safe. Before this, they were mostly living on our phones or our tablets, which always felt like a bit of a risk, especially as one of my kids' devices was recently stolen whilst they were out shopping. Now, at last, they're backed up automatically. I also added another layer of protection for our OneDrive, Google Drive, and Dropbox accounts. The NAS synchronizes some important folders with cloud storage. Actually, it's the other way around, sort of. Ultimately, those files exist in two places, at home on the NAS and also in the cloud. If something ever happened to our Microsoft, Google, or Dropbox accounts, even if one day I decided to stop that service, the important data would already exist at home on our NAS. Oh, and there's one more backup I love to do. It's honestly plug and play, literally. I have a little USB disk, I plug it in, and in about 30 minutes, I have a second copy of everything that's on my NAS. It's automatic, it's simple, and another reason I love my NAS. Next was the media server part. I used to have Plex installed on my Windows computer, but I didn't use it much. Since I already have my files converted to some electronic format, the Synology media server lets me access them from anywhere on my network. It's definitely not as refined as Plex, but it suits my family and me just fine. We turn on our smart TV, point it to the NAS device, and all my folders appear. From there, I choose what I want to view, sit back, and hello, local streaming. Now, accessing my work documents or spreadsheets and other files over my network is also another reason I wanted a NAS device. All I need to do is map a drive on my Windows laptop to my NAS device, and I can work directly with the files on my NAS. Once again, it's simple to set up and super easy to use daily. The last two things I installed are basically for my interest and are probably nice to haves for you. One of them is called Synology Active Insight, which allows notifications if something happens. So as I have my UPS connected to my NAS via a USB cable, I get notified when the power drops. Another warning is triggered for unusual access activity on my device, but till now, the unusual activity has been my sometimes early wake up at 5 a.m., which causes unusual access of my photo app to trigger the alert. The last item I installed a few weeks ago is the Synology Log Center. This app gives me techie brain, a few extra things to do and what's happening on my device. But honestly, if techie talk this is not your thing, then there's no need for you to install it. When I first bought the NAS, I explored quite a few of the extra features. Media servers, different apps, various services you can run. Some of them were interesting. But in practice, most of them weren't. They weren't necessary for this household, at least. And that's an important lesson. A NAS can do many, many things, but most people only need a few of them. For us, backups and storage are the real value. But it's true that I'm a bit slow to get my surveillance system moved onto it, not a weekend job. Or is it? Hmm. It's super reliable. Now, granted, it's only 6 months, but updates are done quickly and well. No issues with any part of the hardware, be it in the main system board or the memory or the disks. Performance is also as fast as my network allows, which is great even when copying large YouTube videos that I make. Yes, I could upgrade the network, but for now, this is perfect for me. Even when the whole family is home, it's super fast. Another overlooked item is the software library that Synology has. It's vast, and if ever I want to play with something that I saw somewhere, I'm sure I could find a version of it in there. Some honest pain points that could be better. Well, when I connect to the Synology interface from my network, so at home, I use a website address, URL. When I'm outside of my network, I cannot use the same one. Yes, there's tricks to get around this, but it would be nice if I did not have to use these tricks. I tried to set up some virtualization as I had planned for my surveillance systems, but I thought Synology would maybe have a nice wizard-like interface that runs me through what to click and where after I install the apps I needed. Unfortunately, they don't, so I need to start to investigate how to do things from other YouTube vids or websites. Looking back, there are a few things I would do differently. Firstly, I probably over-researched things. I spent a lot of time, probably weeks, comparing options before realizing the basic setup is actually quite straightforward and all I needed. Second, it's easy to buy more hardware than you really need. Memory and SSDs are great to have, but have a plan to use them and stick to it. Otherwise, it's money you could have spent elsewhere or even in a year or two later in your NAS journey. Honestly, none of that is wrong, but beginners shouldn't feel they need the perfect setup on day one. For me, the most important thing was simply getting reliable backups running, and that's exactly what I got. What's your immediate need? Let me know below. I'll try to give you some practical advice. So, after 6 months, what does a NAS realistically do in our home? It automatically backs up our phones. It allows me to browse my picture and video collections. It keeps my mind at ease in case our cloud files have issues. And it gives the family one central place for all their files. Most of the time, we don't even think about it. It just quietly does its job. The first thing to understand is that a NAS is mostly about backup and automation. Once it's set up, it protects your files without you needing to think about it. The second benefit is peace of mind. Photos, videos, documents, and backups are stored in one place and properly backed up using the inherent hardware and software tricks only a NAS device has. And finally, a NAS isn't something everyone needs. It's an expensive purchase, even if you do not choose Synology. Saying that, if you want simple automatic control over your own data at home, it can be very useful. For our household, it has definitely been worth it, especially for this IT-centric dad. Thanks for watching.